Okay, we're going to get started in just a minute. We'll wait and see if anyone else joins us. We have a Q&A live, so if anyone has questions as we go, there's a place to click the Q&A button, ask questions, and I'll answer those as we go. We'll get started in just a minute. All right, let's go ahead and get started. We're recording the webinar so we can share it with anybody who might not be able to make it. So if you have friends that are traveling home or, you know, we're busy this evening, they can just shoot me an email and I can send them the link to the webinar to watch it. So we're going to quickly go through Global Scholars housing as well as the multicultural housing applications, just so you know sort of what to expect and what you need to do. So earlier today, I sent out a link to all of the different types of applications, and two of those are the special interest housing. And so multicultural and global scholars are two of those things. When you click on the link, you're going to come to the application page, and so we'll go through Global Scholars first. So Global Scholars House is in File House. This year was the first year we had it. It's for any student who's interested in sort of living in a globally minded community. And the nice part about living there is that anyone who stays in Global Scholars House can stay on campus for all the breaks during the academic year for free. And then there's also food and activities provided free of charge during the breaks as well. And so here at the top, it talks a little bit about that. It does also talk about that living in campus houses, you're responsible for cleaning them, and so ensuring that you have the necessary supplies to do that, keeping care of the house, things like that. That's one of the biggest things that we want to ensure happens, is that the house is taken care of. We really encourage students from all over the world to apply, so international students as well as domestic students from the United States, because the goal here is to create a global community there in File House. The costs are listed, and then the application is due no later than noon on April 6th. And then we'll have a interest-based housing committee. We'll get together that evening, and the next day we'll let people know if they were accepted to Global Scholars. So the application is really simple. We ask simple questions: name, gender, student ID, what class year you'll be next year, what is your cumulative GPA. If you're a first year student, this is going to be your first semester GPA. If you're upper class student, it's going to be your cumulative of all semesters GPA. And then, are you an international student? If so, what's your country of origin? Because we give first preference for Global Scholars House to international students. And if you have someone you know you want to live with as a roommate, you tell us who that is. And if you don't, we ask if you're willing to have us pair you up with a roommate. And then there's a short essay, and it says here 500 to 750 words. It does not need to be that long. What we're looking for is that you answer the questions associated with the essay. So what will this housing option provide you that traditional housing will not? And what are some ideas you have for programming and events at the Global Scholars House next year? And then we have our housing contract. We ask that you follow the link to read and agree to. And then you tell us that your application is true and honest, and then initials and digital signature. So are there any questions from anybody about Global Scholars House? Anything and everything. You can put it in the Q&A and I will answer those questions. I'm not seeing any questions. I'll keep my eye on it just in case some others pop up, but I'm going to go ahead and move on to multicultural housing for folks who are interested in that. Whoops, sorry. Okay, so the Alma Jean Prince Multicultural Housing Community, that is a new offering we are having for this coming academic year. So this housing is inspired by the first Black woman to graduate from Hanover College, and so we're naming it after her. We're going to call it AGP housing because that's kind of a fun little nickname to use, but it will stand for Alma Jean Prince. This housing is for any student who wants to be part of a multicultural community and wants to feel a sense of community and belonging at Hanover College. So that's the goal of this. It is multicultural, so anyone is welcome to apply who finds that multiculturalism is a value that they hold. Applications are due no later than April 6th, just like the other application, and folks will hear back by April 7th. All right, so then because we don't know what location we will be using for multicultural housing next year, because we don't know how many students are interested, we're asking that you check off every location you're interested in living in. So if you are only interested in a double room, you would click base room. If you're interested in living in a suite, you'll click suite. If you're interested in living in oval, house, apartment. Whatever you're interested in and willing to live in, you should click. And then based off of the interest, number of people, etc., we will select the location that fits the most people who are interested, who also are interested in living in that type of housing. And then the rest of the application looks similar to the Global Scholars application. Name, gender, ID, class year, cumulative GPA. Do you have someone you want to live with? If so, who is it? Here's the most important part on both of those applications is that it needs to be mutual and both people need to apply for the community. So you and your roommate both need to fill out the application and you both need to put each other's names down. And of course, are you willing to be matched with someone if you don't have a roommate selected and they don't too? And then the essay portion on this is, why is living in AGP housing important to you? And that's all we need to know. Why would that be important to you? So if you're, especially if you're seeking an increased sense of multicultural community and support, that's what we're looking for. And we're going to give first preference to those folks who show that expressed desire. And then again, looking at the housing contract, terms and conditions, and agreeing to those. You agree that you told the truth on the application, initials, and digital signature. All right, so I'm going to open up for any Q&As about that, or Global Scholars, or anything housing related, or anything, I guess, while we're here. Q&A is open if you want to put some questions on there, and I will try to answer them. All right, I'm not seeing any. So if you don't have any questions, you are free to leave the webinar. And if you do have questions you want to ask me one-on-one, shoot me an email and we can talk about what those questions might be as you're thinking about what you're going to apply for. Certainly reach out and we can talk about the application or any other questions that might come up. All right, thank you everyone for coming. Have a great rest of your week, a happy spring break, and hopefully a very healthy spring break, and we will see you soon.